Okay, so picture this. You walk into I don't know, a huge sports bar,
Right.
or maybe the lobby of big corporate headquarters,
Right.
and you're just surrounded by walls of TVs, dozens, maybe even 100 of them, all playing different things, all perfectly in sync.
Hmm. Seamless.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But have you ever stopped to think about how all that traffic is actually managed? Because, I mean, you'd think there's a massive server room somewhere, right? Stuffed with gear.
Oh, absolutely. Back in the day, you'd be picturing these huge matrix switchers, bundles of heavy cables, and a pretty significant cooling bill to go with it.
But that whole world is changing. So today, let's do a deep dive into this one device. It's the Kramer ZMPNUC-F.
It's described as a Zyper management platform.
And we're pulling our information straight from the listing on HGTV Supply, who've been in the AV game for, what, 25 years now?
Yeah, and this device is so interesting because it really represents that big shift away from hardware-heavy setups to what we call AV over IP.
Right? AV over IP. So instead of dedicated video cables, we're just sending everything over to standard computer network. But here's the bit that I think trips people up. If it's all just data on a network, why do you need a special box like this Kramer unit?
That's the key question.
Why not just use the network switch?
Because the network switch is just the road, it's the asphalt. But when you have, 100 cars all trying to go to different places at once, you need a traffic cop.
A traffic cop, okay.
And that's exactly what the Kramer ZMPNUC-F is. It manages all the endpoints, the Zyper encoders and decoders. It's not actually moving the pixels itself.
It's just the brain. It's
Yeah.
telling the pixels where to go.
Precisely. It's the command and control.
And the scale here it's pretty surprising. The specs say this one little unit can support up to 120 endpoints.
120. That is a massive amount of screen real estate being managed by one little box. Imagine trying to configure that many devices by hand. It would be a nightmare.
So this gives you the interface to do it.
The API, the visual interface, yep, it handles all that complexity. But if we, look under the hood, it's not some kind of magic black box.
Well, it's a computer.
I saw that. It's essentially a specialized little PC. It's running an Intel Alder N Lake N100 CPU, and the whole thing is built on a Linux backbone.
Specifically, Linux Ubuntu 24.04.
Which is a really smart choice for an appliance.
Perfect. The last thing you want is a Windows update rebooting your entire video wall in the middle of the Super Bowl. Linux gives you that rock-solid, set-it-and-forget-it stability.
It's got 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gig SSD.
Yeah.
And I noticed it has dual gigabit LAN ports. That has to be for splitting the traffic, yeah.
100%. That's vital. You keep your management commands on one network, and you let the actual, flood of 4K video data run on the other.
So your instructions don't get lost in the noise.
Exactly. It keeps the whole operation smooth no matter how much bandwidth you're pushing. Okay, so it's handling 120 screens, but the device itself it's tiny. They call it an NUC, a next unit of computing. It's what, less than 7 inches wide?
It's incredible. You could literally hold the management system for an entire command center in one hand.
The source material even says it comes with a VESA bracket, so you can just mount it on the back of a monitor. It basically disappears.
And it's not just saving physical space, it's saving energy. I mean, the spec sheet says it uses 18 watts.
18. And only 24 watts at its peak.
Compare that to the old iron. Those big rack-mounted switchers were basically space heaters. You're now running an enterprise-grade system with less power than a standard light bulb.
Which brings us to the cost. It's listed on HGTV Supply for around $1,720. That's down from over $2,000.
For a system that controls 120 endpoints, that cost per screen is just incredibly low.
And we should probably mention, since we're talking about the vendor, HGTV Supply. They seem to have a pretty solid reputation. That Wolfpack brand and a 96% customer satisfaction rating.
Yeah, that matters. When you're deploying something this critical, you need to know the support is going to be there.
So if we pull it all together, we've moved from these massive, hot, power-hungry machines to a box smaller than a lunchbox running Linux.
It just shows that the hardware era of AV is, well, it's winding down, and the software era has completely taken over. We're using standard, off-the-shelf networking to do things that used to require custom, dedicated infrastructure.
It really makes you think. I mean, if a device this small, running on less power than a lamp, can manage 120 channels of high-def video, what does that imply about all that traditional rack-filling hardware we still see everywhere?
Is it already obsolete and we just don't realize it yet?
Something to chew on. Oh. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.